Welcome to Fat Chat. I'm your host, Robyn Flynn, joined by Amber Venner. She's a nurse and a midlife perimenopause strategist. Thanks so much for being here, Amber.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Robyn. I'm excited.
Yeah, I love when people slide into my DMs in a non-creepy way because I think
Right?
you could probably relate. As women, we get a lot
Uh-huh,
of
uh-huh.
disturbing DMs on
Yes.
socials, but I get excited when they're not disturbing at all. And you sent me this great voice memo, and like voice memos are my favorite form of communication right now. Telling me about this story, which we will get into a little bit
Yeah,
later, of
sure,
something
sure.
that happened to you at an amusement park, which I think makes you the perfect candidate for this podcast. But I'm also super jazzed because I am almost 39 years old. So I am in that wild, wonky hormonal phase. And all the doctors are like, no, 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 it's way too early to be perimenopause. And then you Google it and you're like, nope, perimenopause can start in your 30s. So
Yeah,
tell me what the
yeah,
fuck
it
is going
definitely
on with
can.
my body
Oh,
right now.
and I understand, like, my doctor's female, and when I approached her, she told me it was a part of aging, and she's younger than me, so I was like, "'Kay, you wait, you wait." But so, yeah, it can definitely start even, like, early 30s, mid-30s, generally you'll start seeing some signs, symptoms. Usually, so typically, it'll be your early 40s is the time when you go, "Wait, what? What? Like, who am I? What is happening? And why do I hate everybody?" So, but there's definitely a huge amount of people who start 35. So generally, we like to say between the ages of 35, 50
Okay.
is when you'll start going through perimenopause, which can last mm, 7 to 10 years, right? And
And then that's followed up by the joy of menopause.
that one day, that one day of menopause, really, it's you go 12 months without a menstrual cycle, okay, and then you're like, okay, it's been 12 months, menopause. That's it. That's menopause. It's It's wild because you don't just continue with menopause for a certain length of time. It's like, okay, now I'm menopausal. And so now things are going to start evening out. And this is who I am now. But perimenopause, that's what leads up to menopause, is something that we don't talk about and we don't know about. I don't know about you, Robyn, but did you know that something like this was coming?
Not until my friends started experiencing it and we're all
Hmm.
talking about it.
Right.
And like a friend of mine who used to love summer, it was this big joke because I love winter and I love the cold and she loves summer. So we're always like, neither of us are ever happy at the same time.
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
And this past summer, she was like, I'm sweating like a pig every day. I cannot go outside. I cannot tolerate the heat. I think I'm in perimenopause. And she was like, is this how you feel all the time?
yeah,
And I was
right.
like, yes,
You're like,
exactly.
welcome.
Welcome.
Yes, yes. And that's the thing that kind of happened to me was that I was recognizing that my friends, we were all just kind of like, meh,
Yeah.
I'm not feeling well. I'm not having a great week. Or I snapped at my partner, and we're just like, what is happening to all of us? Like, maybe it's just a bad time. And then I kind of went through you know, a feeling where I wondered if I should go and get assessed. I was cranky. I was, not sure if I liked my husband. I wasn't even sure if I liked my kids that much. And I was, swearing and snapping and yelling and crying. And I'm like, is there something going on in my head? And maybe I really do
Yeah.
need to go get assessed. Um, so I worked in mental health for about 12 or 13 years. So I'm not one to just dive into that thought of getting assessed. So I decided I'm going to start doing some research on this stuff because maybe, I don't know, maybe I have a different hormone or something, right? Like I had no idea. So I started doing research and I was so blown away when everything was coming up as symptoms of perimenopause. And I thought,
Mm.
wait, I'm a nurse. How do I not know what this is? And how do I know, or how do I not know that this is a huge transition for women? It blew my mind. So I started just going down more rabbit holes and more rabbit holes. And I'm like, this is what's happening to me. And this is what's happening to everybody around me. Right?
Yeah. And you kind of hit the nail on the head there when you said, like, I'm a nurse. How did I not
Uh-huh.
know? I feel like in general, the medical system is woefully ill prepared to handle not just perimenopause, but like women's issues. Like
Big
there's just
time.
like I have PCOS, polycystic ovarian
Mhm.
syndrome, which causes weight gain, which allows me to be fat for this podcast.
Yes,
But
excellent,
um,
excellent.
after I had my daughter, like we did IVF to have my daughter. I didn't have a period at all, which is not abnormal for me as a
Yeah.
PCOS lady. But I stopped breastfeeding and my period came back with a vengeance. And not just like, oh, it was a heavy period. I am not exaggerating. I bled heavily every day for 11 months straight. And I went to my doctor repeatedly being like, I can't function. Like, I couldn't go an hour without getting to a bathroom, which was really difficult for work and child rearing and all the things.
Yeah.
And, like, no one cared. They're like, "We'll run some blood tests." And then, like, I look at the blood requisition form, and it was just a standard blood panel. There was no hormone testing. They didn't even check my iron levels. And I'm like, "I'm telling you I'm bleeding heavily. Like, I
Yes.
may be anemic. Like, can we
Yeah.
figure something out?" I'm like, "I don't feel well. I'm exhausted." And he just kept prescribing me the birth control pill. He was like,
And
"Oh,
there's
well,
like
this one's not working. We'll just try a different one. This one's not working." And, like, I found out later that if your BMI is over a certain number, the birth control pill might not work for you.
Mhm.
Like you're too fat for it to absorb. You need like a higher dose.
Yeah,
So I've had to like take matters into my own hands
yeah,
basically to solve that crisis and stop hemorrhaging essentially. And I was just so pissed off that I
yeah,
had to figure it out that
yeah,
he couldn't,
yeah. It's very true. And same with like the morning after pill. Like you,
Yep.
if you're a heavier woman, sorry, it's probably not going to work for you.
You don't
You
even
know?
need to be that heavy. Isn't it like max 180 pounds? And
Yeah, I
like the
think so.
average
180,
person is two.
185. Yeah,
Oh,
it's wild. So, Robin, with you having PCOS, did you know that a lot of symptoms of PCOS can mirror a lot of perimenopausal symptoms?
yeah.
So, and it's also very common for those with PCOS to go into perimenopause earlier. So
Yep.
it totally makes sense that you have been experiencing a lot of those symptoms for a few years. And I'm so sorry that that happened to you. Imagine having a newborn, a baby, and you losing so much blood that you passed out. Oh, women's health issues, right? Like we carry the world. Let's be honest. We do. We just don't yell about it. So, on behalf of Ontario, I know you live in Montreal, but on behalf of Ontario, I'm so sorry that happened. That's hurtful. That's sad. That's how do you trust the system after that, right?
Yeah, and, like, just to paint you a little picture, I remember I'm a podcast producer, social media strategist, like, that's what I do. So I frequently am, like, on the road. I'm going to clients to work with them, and I was giving a presentation for some clients who had brought me in to help them sort of adapt their social media strategy, and I walk into their conference room, and I'm at the point where I'm wearing leak-proof panties, a overnight pad, and an Ultra tampon, and I walk into the conference room, and all the chairs are white.
Oh
And,
my
like,
God.
the panic I felt, and I was booked to be there for 4 hours, and I'm
Ugh,
like, if I'm pausing to go to the bathroom every 45 to 60 minutes, they're gonna think I'm unwell, which I
right.
was, but, like,
Yeah.
I was like and it wasn't just women, there were men in there too. If it was, like, a room full of women, I could have been like, "Listen, guys, I'm on my period," and everything would have been fine, but we have to,
Right.
like, keep it a secret from men lest we offend their senses.
I know. And you just, because even if you do say it, they're going to be like, oh, it's fine. They're going to
Yeah,
pretend that's, and then every time you do go up to go, you know what they're thinking.
yeah,
Holy, because what men even know about a menstrual cycle is you get a period, that's it. They don't understand that it probably can go like this and you can bleed extremely heavy and I'm going to ruin your white chair. So, you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, that's
And,
wild
like, they
to
don't
me.
understand, like, I think they think a lot of men think that we can control it the way you can control, like, a urine stream.
Uh huh.
They
Uh
think,
huh.
like, "Just, like, hold it in and go to the bathroom."
Yeah.
Um,
They,
I'm like, "Can you hold it in when you cut your arm and you start
I,
bleeding?" Like
no problem. No problem.
and then also the clots. It's something that people just don't talk about because it's gross. But
Yeah.
like when you're on your period, especially the kind of period I was having at that point, when you're bleeding that heavily, your body is trying to clot the blood so you don't
Yes.
die.
It's, you know,
And I
yeah.
was passing clots that were like literally the size of baseballs,
Yeah.
like huge. And no tampon, no pad, no leak proof panty on the planet is going to be able to hold something like that.
No.
So
You
the
need to get
second you
Japan.
feel that jellyfish burst into your pants, like you need to run to the bathroom immediately,
Yeah.
waddle so you don't disrupt what's going on down there.
While
Which
trying to
like
look
how
casual,
yeah,
while you're waddling.
how do you run a business? How do you meet with clients? How do you
No.
spend an hour in traffic going to go see, like, and then get home and you're pumping and you got a baby who's crying.
No,
And
no.
it was honestly the worst 11 months of my life. I could not function.
Robyn, I could not imagine that. I could not. You can't function. And, you know,
And
with
like, you know what? Sorry to interrupt you,
no, no,
Amber.
no,
I
go ahead.
found out later because I had a similar bleeding episode again this year. But I didn't let it go for 11 months. After 6 weeks, I was like, we're finishing this. I'm going to find a new doctor.
Yeah.
There is something you can prescribe to stop the bleeding. It's called tranexamic acid because that's what the doctor prescribed to me. And within 5 days, the bleeding stopped. So I am even more livid that the doctor just kept throwing birth control pills at me when there was, a solution right there on the table.
Yeah. And I understand that doctors are human. They don't know
Of
everything. I
course.
totally understand that. And, that's valid. But when you have a client that could potentially pass out with a newborn on the street due to loss of blood, you need to kind of do some research on that. I've learned
Yeah.
that with my doctor. I now come in with research. And she's fine with that because they're human, right?
Yeah.
So, but people don't know that they should do that. And some doctors are not okay with that either, right? So that's something you have to kind of tiptoe around if that's even a possibility. But we all trust our doctors.
Yeah.
So, like you said, so then I just left and birth control, and that's that because you trust that your doctor is going to put you on the right path. And it's not that they wanna do harm, but they just do what they think is best, and then you're forgotten about, and then you have to live with it. So, as a woman, because of the lack of knowledge that doctors have about the female body, about what we go through, we really need to advocate for ourselves. And I think that more of us need to talk about that. We need to push that. And I think that's okay. Like, I don't like confrontation at all, but this is about you and your health. Bring the information, do the research yourself, bring the information to your doctor. Say, hey, this is kind of what I found. This is exactly what I'm going through. What do you think? And most doctors, I know not all of them, some women have come to me and their doctors are not flexible.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, ladies, that happens. Um, but usually they're pretty good because they don't know everything. It's impossible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my doctor's great where she'll look at my stuff and then she'll look it up and then she'll look it up in doctor's terms that I don't have. And then she'll roll with me, even if she maybe is like, eh.
Yeah.
She'll hear me. So that's one thing I think is so important to advocate for ourselves. So not only do a lot of doctors don't have training in hormones, especially women's hormones, they definitely don't have training in women who are bigger.
Yeah.
Like we get treated like a traditional women. And everything, I don't know about you, Robyn, but everything I went to my doc. So before this doctor took over, I had an older gentleman. Everything that I went to him for, lose weight,
Yeah.
lose weight. I even went and talking about like a breast reduction, and he's like, lose 60 pounds and then come back to me and tell me if you want a breast reduction. I'm like, cool, no problem. I'll be back next week. Like, no problem, no problem. So not only are we going through perimenopause, we're also a heavier woman, which also can increase a lot of those symptoms for being a bigger woman.
Yeah.
The perimenopausal symptoms will land on us heavier, unfortunately.
Pun intended.
Right? I know it's true, but I mean, hey, we've got some good stuff too. Like you said, people sliding into your DMs. We know but I don't
Yeah.
know why people can't shout it out loud.
Yeah, that's
What they
such an
like.
interesting point because, like, I mentioned this in the first episode of my podcast. Like, some people always be like, "Ugh, you're gonna die alone. You're disgusting. Nobody wants you." And I'm like, literally, have never had an issue getting laid. No,
Mm-mm.
there's a
No.
lot of guys out there literally prefer larger
Totally.
bodies.
Yes. So these men that I talk to, I'm very good at when guys slide into my DMs. I engage, but in a guy that was terrible. Like you were not. So I engage often. And a lot of men have always had the preference, but society says that it's not a good preference, so they don't say it out loud. It's not
Yeah,
until men are older that they start admitting out loud that a bigger female body is what they crave, what they want, right? But when you're young, you can't shout that out loud, which sucks. Like, I wanted to
Yeah,
do
and, like,
that.
we're learning so much, like, not to, like, bring the Epstein files into this, but to
Oh,
bring the Epstein files into this, a lot of the, like, beauty standards that exist for women are rooted in pedophilia. Like, we're supposed
yeah.
to be thin, shapeless, hairless,
Yes.
and we're
Oh,
supposed to
I
look like
know.
children. That's what is attractive, and
Mm,
I'm not a child. I'm an adult woman with curves. I've birthed a human. I have a
yeah,
C-section scar. You
totally.
know, I have
Stretch
hair.
marks, yeah, stretch marks, varicose veins, like, yeah, you name it, because we're human, right?
Yeah.
And it's my son, he said to me last year something about my friends think you're hot. Ugh. He's like, they called you a MILF, and I'm like, "Oh, they're size inclusive. We're raising boys that are size inclusive. Yay, we're doing a good job." And I'm like, yeah, because like we're babes, right? So it's up to us. We're gonna change that trajectory. But so many things are up to this generation. We're tired too.
Yeah.
Like we are changing a lot of things in society, and
Yeah.
it's heavy, but because we want our children to be able to have a good future where people are good to each other, then this is what we need to do. This is what we need to instill. And all this Epstein shit keeps getting in our way. Ugh. Isn't it wild?
Ugh, it's
Yeah.
vile.
Yeah.
Vile is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I mentioned at the beginning that you slid into my DMs with a voice memo.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was cackling listening to this voice memo because you paint such a good picture. So why don't you take me along for the ride, so to speak? You went to an amusement park with your
Fair bit.
son. What
Yeah.
happened?
Okay. So, my son is pretty introverted, pretty quiet. So I was like, let's go to a theme park. Let's get him on some rides. This was a couple years ago. So I think he was about 11 or 12. So it wasn't a crazy, crazy busy day. We were at Canada's Wonderland. It's in Vaughan, so just outside of Toronto. And I've been going there since I was a kid. So it was my time. I'm going to take him. We're going to have an awesome time. We spent a lot of the time in like the kid place. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. It's a start. So there's this ride called Swing of the Century. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
I've
you
been
go,
on it.
yeah, yeah. And then you sit in these seats and then you go around like this slow and then you end up on the other side. Like awesome. So we saw that it was about to start and there were a few empty seats. No one in line. So we're like, let's go. So we run. Well, I fast walked to the Swings of the Century. Our swings were not right beside each other because there was only a couple left. So I watch him, he goes to his seat. I go to find a seat. I sit and I'm like, oh, my hips are not, they can't go in the seat. They can't go in the seat. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And people are waiting for me because we were the last ones. We ran. So I'm sitting there and people are waiting for me to get my little belt on. So I take this seat and I'm like, well, I can't embarrass my child. I can't embarrass myself. So I'm just going to do it. So I shimmied this thing on and I shimmied it. My sides were sticking out. The metal was like cut into my waist. So it starts, we're going around, and every time we went around, I was like, because it was digging into me so bad. It hurt, it was painful. And all I kept thinking was, how am I going to get out when this ride ends? Right. So I wasn't enjoying myself. It was hurting. I was thinking about what's coming next. And I'm like, my poor kid, it's going to be so embarrassing. He's going to just wait there. So the ride comes to a slow, it stops. And he's just waiting because everyone's rushing to get off and they're waiting to open the gate so more people can come on, but everyone has to be out of their seats first. It was so painful, me trying to tear this thing off of my hips. Like my son's just like standing there and it was so embarrassing. Everyone's waiting for me, watching me, and I am shimmying this thing off me and he starts trying to pull it off me as well.
Ugh.
Oh man, like hey, and I'm not insanely obese. It was so embarrassing. And then I felt like it ruined my whole day. It ruined my whole day. All I could think about was, fuck me. I am fatter than everybody here and I can't even go on a ride. Oh, it was so nuts, especially because it was just, you're doing this and you can't leave. My kid's very introverted. I couldn't leave him on a ride by himself either.
Yeah.
That sat with me that day, and I feel like it ruined my whole day. It
Ugh,
was
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, well, it's not that it doesn't happen in many other ways, right?
Yeah, it's true. And it's an interesting conversation I've been having with a lot of people, like my grandmother in particular. I have the hippest grandmother on the planet, by the way.
Mhm.
Like,
Is she
I'm
still
so,
around?
I'm like, yeah, I'm so grateful that I still have a living grandparent,
Yeah,
first of
yep.
all. And I'm also like a major grandma's girl. Like, I'm obsessed with my grandmother and always have. We're extremely close. I adore this woman and go to her for everything. Um, and we were having a conversation once because most of the furniture in her house is like antiques. It belonged to like her parents and her grandparents.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
literally hundreds of years old. And I told her like I can't sit like on your chairs. I can't sit. So like I would always bring like those like Coleman camping chairs. They're like
totally.
I always
Yeah,
have them in the car for like going to like sporting events for my
yep,
nephew or
yep.
whatever. So I'm like I'll just grab one of my camping chairs and I'll sit on that. And she's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Grandma, like, first of all, the furniture is very, very old, so I don't trust it.
Yeah,
But
totally.
also, like, even standard furniture, most chairs, the average max weight capacity is 180 pounds.
Uh-huh,
I'm like,
uh-huh.
most adult men are over the max
Yeah,
capacity. Just
yeah,
like, people are bigger, not just fatter, like taller. Like, a lot of men are like 6 feet plus. Like, they
absolutely.
weigh more. And my grandma thought I was insane. She was like, there's no way. Cause then that means so and so can't sit on this. So and so can't sit on this. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
And every time someone who's above that capacity does, you're like shrinking the lifespan of that furniture because it puts too much
100%.
pressure. And now my grandma's so funny because every time I'm at her house, she'll have bought like new folding chairs or something. And she flips it over and she's like, see, the max weight capacity on this one's only 155. And like she's obsessed with it
Recognizing.
now, which I think is adorable because rather than be, I think the previous attitude, let's say 20 years ago, circa like America's Next Top Model era, was just lose weight, be
Just
smaller.
lose weight, yeah.
Whereas now we're like, hey, can we make furniture that fucking fits our bodies that can support
Exactly,
us? Like,
exactly.
do you know the, like, journey I went on to find new dining chairs for my kitchen? Like, even the fancy, expensive ones, the max weight capacities are like 200 pounds. Like, everything is so not made for larger people.
Right, and, like, let's be realistic here, as you age, your body doesn't stay the same. So,
Yeah.
most even perimenopausal women, the one thing that bothers them is all the belly fat, all the weight gain, right? Which,
Yep.
ladies, you're fucking hot. Sorry,
Yeah.
I know that's not easy to take in, it's bullshit, but, like, we are bigger than our men a lot of the times, heavier than our men a lot of the times,
Yes.
and we can't even buy modern day furniture. And if you do and it breaks, it's like, oh, too bad, because how much do you weigh? Like, tell me how much you weigh when you try to return a furniture. Well, it says right here, and that's what they do it for too. It's the
Yeah.
worst. It's the worst, and it's embarrassing. Have you broken furniture?
I have.
Me too.
Um, those white
Oh,
plastic
do I?
patio.
That's what I'm talking about. Yep. Snap the leg.
They hate to see me come in those white plastic outdoor chairs.
Yep.
Would never in a million years. But like, this is something I have conversations with people is like, think about seating and people you're inviting over. Because like, if you're inviting a bunch of fat people over and you don't have furniture that can support them,
Yeah.
you're not being very inclusive. Like they can't
Yeah.
exist in your space.
Yeah.
So, the same way that if somebody came over to my house for dinner and they were a vegan, I wouldn't serve prime rib,
Exactly. Yeah.
just making these thoughts, having these thoughts, making these accommodations, and
Yeah.
don't make a big deal about it. Don't be like,
Totally.
don't
Yeah.
sit on that chair.
Yeah. Or like put a
you know,
sign on it for when your bigger friends come over. Don't sit here, fatty. Don't
But
sit here.
also at the same time, like, have some awareness. Like, I don't know about you, but,
That's
like,
yeah.
I would never fit in, like, a booth in a restaurant, like, the ones that the table can't move.
Yeah, yeah. The
But
ones
I'll
that
go
it's
to a
supposed to be
restaurant and they're like,
table in front of you, right? Like,
yeah,
that's
and
the
they're like,
kind of
"Have a seat at the booth." And I'm like, "Are you
yeah.
mental?" Like,
Or a bar, a high chair, I hate the high chairs. "Do you wanna come sit over here where the chair's really high?" And so I'm like, "Not really, but I will because my legs start going numb because I can't get
yeah,
circulation when they're just hanging, but that's fine, that's fine." But I'm wondering,
yeah,
maybe people, they don't need to think about it. So, like, that's another part I think about, you know, being being the people that are advocating, right? I couldn't find that word. I'm perimenopausal, sometimes I get brain fog. Um, because people don't need to think about that. So when you
yeah,
say, take note of having bigger women come over or bigger men coming over to your house, is your furniture gonna work? They don't even think about that. They
yeah.
wouldn't. and then your friend breaks a chair, or your chair on the outside, you're outside, and then your chair is like right in the ground, or the one is like all the way. Oh gosh, so many things, right? And then you're embarrassed. But are people noticing? I don't know. I don't know. But
I'm at
people
the
don't
point
think
though,
about it.
Amber, where like it doesn't even embarrass me anymore. And I don't
Right.
know if I've like gone too far to the other side where I'm just like, the world is not made for me, and that's the world's fucking fault. That's not my
It,
problem.
it's true. And you know what? That's a great way to look at it. It wasn't until probably a year, 2 years ago, maybe three, where I was like, I am no longer starting a diet every Monday because all
Yeah.
I do is shame myself. All I do is beat myself up when I don't do it. Like, I don't want to do that anymore. And I've started to love my body because I also look different than everybody else. And
And like
yeah,
when you're perimenopausal, weight loss is harder. And I
big
know
time.
this as a PCOS like girly. Before I did IVF, I had to lose 40 pounds to
Oh,
do
no
the
problem.
IVF
Yep.
treatment.
No problem.
And I was like, cool, we're doing keto, quick and
Mm,
dirty. We're getting this done.
yeah.
And I was able to track with my cycle my weight loss. If I stuck to my diet and exercise plan the week of my period, I would not lose weight. So that was dieting
Um,
and exercise for maintenance
yeah.
the week of my period.
Yeah.
And the other weeks I could lose, 2 to 3 pounds a week, no problem.
Yeah.
But the week of my period, I would stall completely. And if I didn't adhere to the diet and exercise, I would gain weight that week.
Oh, sounds like it could be a week where you would cheat, but no, no.
No, you
Mm,
can't. And like, I know it's hormone related. So when I go on, Twitter or threads and I see like the gym bros being like, it's just calories in versus
totally,
calories out.
totally.
And I'm like, bull fucking shit. You
Yeah,
don't know what
yeah,
it's like to
yeah.
have hormones that,
No.
fluctuate.
Yeah, and also, Robyn, don't forget, while you're counting all these calories and your macros and everything, don't forget what you have to do for your children. Don't forget what you have to do for your husband. Don't forget you got to exercise. Don't forget you better clean this, this, and this. Don't forget you have an appointment. Also, don't forget that your child has this appointment. Also, they have this at school the next day. Tr- this is another thing that I get really frustrated about the perimenopausal, the diet industry, period. I don't have the space
Yeah.
to to meal prep. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. And then we are guilted for it because this is all you have to do to lose weight. Just meal prep and exercise. And I don't know why more women aren't stating that where, especially as a
We don't
perimenopausal
all have
woman.
the same 24 hours in a day. And anyone who
No.
suggests we do
Yeah.
is kidding themselves.
Yeah. And the pressure is wild. I've been so much happier since just one day I just was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
But also, do you remember being younger, Robyn? How many places were there for us to shop for clothes and stuff, right? So that's carried through our lifespan. Just so everyone knows, you could maybe Old Navy came in when I was a teenager. So they're pretty good with their sizes. There was Torrid, but it was in the United States. So I would try to go to the States every 2 years so I could buy stuff. There was hardly anywhere for us to shop as a bigger woman. Do you remember that? Like, it was
So
really
it's interesting
hard.
because when I was a teenager, I was still standard sized. So I was still able to
Oh,
shop in like regular clothing. I was on the higher end
right.
of standard size,
Yeah,
like size
yeah,
8, size 10, size
yeah.
12. But I could still shop in regular clothes. I went through puberty late, probably because of my PCOS. I only got my first period when I
Yeah.
was like 15. That's when
Wow.
the weight gain started, was at that point. So
The
prior to that,
worst
I was able to
time.
find clothes.
Right.
Um, so it's really in my adult years, like especially in Quebec, like we don't even have brick and mortar tourists in Quebec. I know you have them now in Ontario,
We just
so I
got them,
can
yeah.
only shop online. Um, we used to have Additionel in Quebec that closed down during the COVID
Yeah,
pandemic.
that's right. Yeah.
We still have we have Penningtons, but I personally find it's like old lady clothes. I don't like it.
Mm, that's
So
it.
I shop online. That's my only option. I
Yeah.
don't get that lovely experience of going shopping.
Do you have do you have Old Navies there?
We do, but I'm kind of at the max range of what
Right.
they
Yeah.
carry, and they don't
Yeah.
carry most of those larger sizes in store. You have to buy them
Yeah, you're
online.
right. It's all ordering online. That's the only because you can just as a bigger woman, it's like you buy the plain clothes and then you dress them up with accessories and shoes and purses, right? And
Yes.
then something like Torrid, hey Torrid, I'm sorry to bash you, but $80 for a shirt? Like that's come on, because you're a bigger woman, you have to spend more money. it blows my mind, and I don't want flowers on a cold shoulder, sorry,
Yeah.
but,
Or skulls
like
on everything.
right, it's like so, like, when I was in high school, give me the skulls, give me the studs. As a 43-year-old woman, no, I just want something black that, just it's being a big woman in today's society just makes you feel unworthy.
Yeah.
And coming to this age where you start recognizing, like, wait, I don't really like you very much, or wait, I swallow so much shit for you, or wait, coming to when it comes to sizing as well, that's also a thing.
Yeah.
When all my softening hormones drop, they go like this, but I recognized when I first started this and my softening hormones dropped, which means I started standing up for myself and I started recognizing how much I swallow for everyone else. My size started to become a non issue
Yeah.
because it was never really an issue for me. It was an issue for everybody else. So in this perimenopausal journey, I recognized that I was like, fuck all of you. I'm a babe. And I just stopped giving a shit. I stopped giving a shit because I like myself. I always have. But I was always told that my body wasn't what other people liked. But it
Yeah.
wasn't until perimenopause that I started to be okay with that. Because as women, we just want to make everybody else comfortable. That's what we do. That's what we do as mothers, as partners. But in perimenopause, we start to lose that hormone. And it's amazing how different you feel and how much you just want to give the middle finger to everybody and everything because I like myself. I like,
Yeah. I feel like the turning point for me was honestly when I got pregnant with my daughter because I was fat before and I
yeah,
was fat after.
yeah,
And for that period of time when I was pregnant, all of a sudden, my belly became a focal point. Its growth each week was something to be celebrated. People, my sisters or my mom, they would want to put their hand on my belly and feel the baby kick. All of a sudden, my belly was this miraculous, wonderful thing. And the
mhm,
fact that it was big was wonderful and celebrated. And
right.
after my daughter was born, I was like, I love my belly still to this
Totally.
day. It grew
Anyone
my
want to touch it?
daughter. I think it's incredible. It's like a portal of life.
Yeah.
And I love my belly. And I know for a lot of women that is definitely an area where they put a pillow in front when they're sitting or they're worried about their rolls. I showcase the belly. Like I bought myself a bikini for this summer
You
because
do.
I'm like, fuck you. I'm not covering up my belly.
Totally.
I am proud of it.
And everyone knows what it's going to look like. Like we cover it. We're a big woman. We cover it with clothes. If you take clothes off, like say wearing a bikini, no one's going to be like, oh, that's what they look like. Like people, you know what that's going to look like, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't until the last couple years as well with sex that I started saying, touch me, touch my belly, grab it. And is that ever empowering?
Yep.
Like that was avoided. That was avoided because men think that women don't really want that touched because it's supposed to be shameful.
Yeah.
But now when someone loves your body and they start touching the parts of you that were never touched before due to shame, ah, that intimacy is amazing. That's a big chunk of your body that that hasn't been touched because people were told that it's a sensitive spot.
Yeah.
What a difference. People, touch your woman's belly. Touch it, grab it,
Yes.
love it, kiss it.
Not to
Like
mention,
it's
I think
so
women are
important.
afraid that they're gonna gross their partner out, right? And I don't know about you, but never ever in my life, not once, has a man gotten me naked and been like, "Never mind." Like, they've won
Exactly.
the fucking lottery. They've got a naked lady in front of them. They're
Totally.
thrilled.
And if they're hitting on you, they know what you look like. You're not going to take off your clothes and they're going to be like, "Oh, what?
Yeah.
Like you're not skinny with a six pack." Like they are hitting on you because they're attracted to you.
Yep.
You know what you're going to look like without clothes on. They're not expecting a beautiful traditional body underneath your clothes. They're expecting softness and curves and cellulite and stretch marks because that's what women's bodies do. So I wanted, like, we got to reiterate that too. Take off your clothes and celebrate your body because you know what you look like. People know
Yeah.
what you look like under your clothes. Like, you know what I mean? So people need to recognize that too and touch your partner's belly. Just and if it
Yes.
makes them uncomfortable, slowly
Yeah.
because you love
Work up to it.
them. Yes.
Okay,
It's
Amber, where do people go to follow
yeah,
you, work with
sure.
you,
Yeah.
give all the things?
Yeah, so I'm doing a big talk this weekend in my town. I'm really excited for it. But if you just want to follow me, my Instagram handle is at shecomesfirst.av. Um, I do most of my stuff on Instagram, so that's probably the best place to follow me. And if you have questions, if you want to celebrate your body, if you want to chat with me, like slide into my DMs. Tell
Yes.
me how cute.
Send
Tell me. Like, yeah. So,
send her a voice memo.
so I have a rule with voice memos. I never delete. I can F them up. I can cough. That's my rule. I do not delete. So if you want to voice memo me, I'm totally cool with that too. You're gonna get one back. And you may even hear like farting. I don't know. I just don't delete them. That's my rule because that's who I am.
I love that. Amber, thank you so much for
Oh,
sliding into my DMs. This has been
hey,
wonderful.
anytime, girl. Nice to chat with you, Robyn. Thanks so much.